Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Super Mario 64. So, best water track in video games, this or Donkey Kong Country?
Neither.
Oh, hot take. What's the best water track then?
There's plenty of great water themes, but I mean,
Do we want to keep it to Mario specifically, or like just general?
General.
Because for general, no, I can think of a lot of others, but like for Mario, it is up there. Okay, for the longest time, it was my favorite, and now I consider, what's the name of Bubbling Galaxy? Not got Kingdom, the Odyssey Kingdom, where the one that's set in the sea,
I like the lake one better actually, from Odyssey.
where you get the wedding dress.
Yeah, like
I don't remember that one at all.
I mean, I don't really remember Dire Docks all that much either. Like,
Really?
I remember the instruments, but I don't really remember the melody. So they're both like really calm, atmosphere, watery sounding level
It's
themes
so
to
re-
me, and
it's
I
so
just like the
relaxing.
other one more.
Yeah, this is very soothing. Like, I absolutely love Dire Docks. You know what's funny? Because in the soundtrack version of the song, it plays the very atmospheric version first, and then he adds the percussion in the second half. I actually don't like the drums that much. I like it when it just remains
Calm.
calm. Yeah.
If we're talking about other water themes from other games, Atlantis from Banjo-Tooie is a water theme I like more than this game. Although, again, I'm also the Banjo-Tooie hashtag simp, stan. I don't know what the kids are saying. these days.
Stan, I don't know why you'd say sip.
But isn't simp like a synonym for stan?
No, because
No.
Simp is specifically wanting affection back.
Banjo-Tooie will never love me back. It's a piece of plastic and metal.
Simp.
But yeah, I really like that one.
Simp.
I mean, you're putting me on the spot here, but I mean, it's nowhere like the songs we just talked about. But Sonic Rush's back to back, back to back.
what-
That's a water theme.
What
Yeah,
is
technically it is.
what is with this word just popping into the universe all of a sudden? Like, I went 32 goddamn years of my life never hearing the word simp from anyone ever in any context, and now, like, for the last 3 days, it's been popping up in odd places.
I thought
acting
it.
like it's
I
always
thought it
been
was just
there.
shorthand. I thought it was just shorthand for simpleton. Like, that's what I originally thought it was. But then I found out it's like, no, it's when you're thirsting for somebody.
Are we
We're thirsting for affection. It's like, man, fuck slang.
are we out of touch with the youth of today?
No, it's the children who are wrong.
To go back to water themes, you know what I just recently discovered
what?
Dang it.
as of like last week?
Wait, that's how
Oh.
what?
That's how speedrunners do it.
You crashed face first into the wall, Mario.
Nope.
He's fine. Just shake it off. No, fucking. I discovered the work of Dean Evans a week and a half ago, who did some music for like the 16-bit generation. He did the soundtrack for Waterworld on the Super Nintendo, and for what I understand, that game is not great, but its soundtrack is fantastic.
Does that whole entire game soundtrack count as a water level?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, and if I were to if I were to put it up there on a pedestal, it's like, you know what? Sure, this is really good fucking underwater music. That entire soundtrack is fantastic.
Because I know you're using it for a stream.
Yeah, for my well, at the time of this upload anyway, my last Q&A, I just played nothing but Waterworld music. Because Dean Evans is a great composer. I'm really glad I discovered his work.
Has he done games that aren't Kevin Costner related?
He did some tracks for the Flintstones game on the SNES. A lot of licensed stuff. There was a soundtrack he composed for a canceled Green Lantern game that I think he ended up repurposing some of those tracks for other games that got released.
Oh, the one that we just found out more information about with Kyle Rayner.
I think that might be the same one. Was it a Super Nintendo one?
Yes.
Then I think it might have been.
It was
that
the one where basically they completely forgot the point of Green Lantern and made basically the ring a gun.
He was also making some music for a canceled E.T. game for the PlayStation 2, which box art you have to fucking see. If I can find it somewhere.
Hold on. I'm gonna Google it right now.
If you can find it, go right ahead, because if you it's a trip. But no, other underwater tracks. You mentioned Aquatic Ambience with Donkey Kong Country.
Yeah.
Is really good. I am inclined to agree, but I'm trying to think of other music that had phenomenal underwater music. And you know what? I'm pretty sure there's like millions. I'm
You know,
Just
if we're
skimming
gonna
through it,
go
I just can't think of
classic, I like the Super Mario Brothers 1 underwater music a lot. Like that's just,
It is classic. Not one of my favorites though.
I mean, it's like do do do. It's like it's so good. You know, you can't beat the originals,
Yeah.
except for when you do.
Yes, you can. I was gonna say
Like repeatedly.
the original is usually the first one to be beaten.
That's why Mega Man 1 is considered the best game in the series. You want to know what it's never been better? Original Donkey Kong. None of the others match. Okay, I'll stop.
Nah.
It can be weird though sometimes because the first one's usually shorter. That almost makes them easier to replay because it's like I do that with Spyro where it's like I like 2 better as a game, but it's so much longer. I usually end up replaying 1 instead.
You want to know what? I actually end up doing that with the Paper Mario games. Like Thousand Year Door is a phenomenal game, but I have replayed the original Paper Mario far more times. Like I've probably played through that game 50, 60 times in my life.
See, that's what I was getting into like years ago. We were talking. I think it was during our Ocarina of Time commentary. Or just in general, it's like why do I still prefer Link to the Past over Ocarina of Time? Because Ocarina of Time requires more time out of me.
Yeah, I mean they are basically
and-
the same game. Otherwise, you know.
To a point, but Link to the Past is just shorter, and I enjoyed that factor over Ocarina of Time, despite Ocarina of Time just in many aspects being a better Link to the Past.
It's a matter of scope for me. I think a lot of the time it depends on if what mood I'm in, because sometimes I do want the bigger game, but then when I'm done with the bigger game, I don't want to play it for a long time because I've kind of had my
I get
full,
that.
you know. That's kind of where I've been this year. Like I haven't really played a lot of RPGs in 2020, although I'm normally a big RPG guy. Just because I played a lot of really huge games in 2019, like I replayed Dragon Quest XI, for example, in 2019, and that's a huge game. So you know, I was kind of done. The only RPG I've played through this year is I replayed Pokemon Leaf Green up until not even doing the Sevii Island stuff, just the main adventure. And I was like, yeah, I'm good.
That's all you need to do. Sevii Islands doesn't really add anything.
Yeah, but you get to listen to that Gen 2 music, which is still
True.
amazing.
But I'd rather just play Heart Gold and Soul Silver at that point.
Okay,
Yeah.
hold on. Controversial take coming up here.
Ooh.
That's probably somewhat controversial since we haven't talked about Gen 2 in forever. After a lot of time thinking about it, I think I would rather play Game Boy Gold, Silver, Crystal than Heart Gold and Soul Silver. And
Really?
So let me try to defend myself here because Heart Gold and Soul Silver is a phenomenal version of the game. There's so much added content. The remixes are great. There's a lot of stuff to love about Heart Gold and Soul Silver, and they are great versions of the game. But the Gen 4 engine is so slow that when I replayed the Game Boy version for the first time in years, when they came out on the 3DS Virtual Console, and that was the first time I was able to replay them because my Game Boy battery died. I was surprised at how much I was enjoying them because of how much faster everything was. You know, just from battles to walking around. Like, you feel like you run around faster in Gold and Silver than you do in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, just because the game doesn't run at 5 frames per second and everything feels so
Which is
slow.
bizarre to think about because you don't even have running shoes in the Game Boy,
No,
the Game Boy
you
game.
don't. And granted, yes, there is some janky elements to Gold, Silver, and Crystal, for sure. But with that said, they're mostly the same experience, and I'm kind of the person who plays Pokemon more for the main adventure than extra side content. Like, I'm not going to be going back and, like, getting all the Safari Zone stuff in Heart Gold and Soul Silver ever again. Like, I did that once, and I'm good, you know? So, if I were to just revisit the original adventure again, I'd kind of want to lean into my nostalgia a little bit and play Gold, Silver, and Crystal as originally designed.
I
Now,
mean,
granted,
we still have to do a revisit of them for BSE at some point because we did Gen 2 so long ago, and might as well do
Very
oh
long-
no,
very, very
I
long time.
absolutely, dude. Looking at that commentary makes me cringe. The first
That was a really old commentary.
the first 15 parts are in one aspect ratio, and then the second half of the playthrough is in a completely different aspect ratio. It's awful.
Oh, wait, wasn't it your first commentary?
It was
Yellow was.
it was the
Yellow
second
was your first
commentary I
commentary, that's
recorded
right,
for
that's right.
BrainScratch.
You see, Heart Gold and Soul Silver is one of those where I'll put up with the Gen 4 speed because I just find it a much more fulfilling experience.
Why did they give us following behind you Pokemon and not bring it back until
Let's Go?
Let's Go / DLC in Sword and Shield, and how it works in Sword and Shield is also really shitty.
I didn't get the DLC for Sword and Shield because I didn't enjoy the base game. So
You're not missing much, to be honest with you.
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind doing it again. I probably, if we were to do that, I probably would record the DS version, partly because my recording 3DS finally works after 10,000 years.
Yay.
And also
Surprised it last that long.
Yeah. My old one was broken, and
the guy who was doing them hadn't stopped making them.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do we have a different source for like capture 3DSs, and do they come in the XL variety?
I don't
because
think
that's what I want.
So the one I got was actually by the guy who did the old ones. What
Okay.
happened was I was talking to Gilly, and he needed a capture 3DS in order to record the 3DS Sonic games, I think it was. And he was like, I need one, and I'm like, I DM'd him and was like, I have one, but it's broken. And he was like, oh, I could fix it. And literally, like, the same day we were talking, the guy who made my old Capture 3DS put his store back online for the first time in like 5 years.
It came out of the dumpster like Rita Repulsa.
Yeah, so
I'm free.
So I said to Gilly, I can just send you my broken one, and if you can fix it, you can keep it. And I just bought.
I forget that he can do that shit, because I remember him saying that he can make my OG GBA
Backlit.
give it a backlit screen. Yeah, because I would love to have one of those.
By the way, hi Gil, if you're watching.
Yeah, how you go?
We should have him on a commentary someday.
I'm totally
For
down
what
if he
though? I'm
wants.
wondering.
Oh no.
Yeah, I could probably ask him.
This is one of the levels that's just loop around and climb and loop around and
This
climb.
is not one of my favorites, no. But you do.
I like
get
this
to
more than
murder
Tall Tall
babies.
Mountain. I like Slip Sliding World more than Tall Tall Mountain.
but Slip Sliding World, Tall Tall Mountain, the stupid clock tower level. They just...
Oh, I love TikTok Clock.
TikTok Clock is fun in that it's one of the only
Really
levels in this
platformy.
game where you get to do a lot of platforming.
Which
that's
is-
part of why I like.
Which is fine, but it's like they couldn't. Like, I get that this is because they were still trying to figure out what sort of level design worked in a 3D platformer, but like there are several levels where the level design is inherently not intuitive to the whole Power Star system. So you wind up going part of the way, picking up a star, getting booted out of the level, going further along the way, picking up another star and getting booted out of the level, then going farther up the way, getting a
I mean, what I do is I go to the farthest one first and then just go my way down.
Well, I mean,
You're still doing a lot of backtracking. You're
Yeah, I
just
know.
minimizing it with
that
each
doesn't
loop.
really change the point. You're just doing it backwards.
That was a big thing that Mario Odyssey. There's a warp. What? Okay.
I think this is another signpost that tells you about that. Too.
Okay. But reading in my Mario game, Pshaw.
Aren't you the RPG guy?
Shush, John. I can have double standards whenever I damn well please.
I mean, you're basically one step away from being a visual novel person.
Yeah.
With
I
all
mean,
the
the only
RPGs.
visual novels I've really played are the Ace Attorney games and Ghost Trick. Play Ghost Trick; it's amazing. Although I really am interested in both Coffee Talk and Valhalla.
Coffee
which I'm
Talk
gonna-
is excellent.
Okay, I'm gonna need to give it a shot then, because I've heard both good things about that and Valhalla. But I lost my train of thought. I think it's more just because I haven't played this game in years. The only time
You also didn't grow up with it compared to John and I and
Yeah.
slightly older crowd.
I mean, I had it on DS. Like, I played this game when I was on DS when I was 11 years old, and I did
No.
beat it.
Ryan, I think you're the only one here out of us four that actually did grow up with this game, because I would not play 64 until I got my N64, and that was in 2003.
Difference is you were old enough to remember when it came out, and thus super early 3D jank.
I suppose so, yeah. Because again, the only knowing about it as in I saw the milk commercial.
Well, Ryan,
I remember that commercial.
Yeah.
you did what the mission told you to do. You slided away. So
Sliding off the world.
You see, okay, so Oh, okay. You know what? I'm not going to give this secret too much crap because there is a line of coins leading into that. But this is just one thing about Odyssey that I think does it a lot better. And I mean, obviously, the not having to enter the level 6 times thing is an improvement, but that's been an improvement in 3D platformers, I think, ever since Mario 60, right after Mario 64 came out. What I'm more talking about is we mentioned it earlier about the mix of platforming and exploration. I think Odyssey basically got that perfect because there's so many hidden rooms that are really cool platforming challenges that I think are way more interesting and fun than even many of the levels in Mario 3D World or Land, which is basically just 3D platforming challenges, the game.
I'll argue though there's a different design mentality though for those games.
I mean,
And it's not exactly fair to compare the two.
I mean, that's true, but I'm also, I think, a lot harder on the 3D World Land games.
Yeah, because
than a
I
lot
mean,
of
don't get me
other
wrong. Like,
people.
I'll play any 3D Mario game before Land and 3D World, not because they're bad games, but because
They're so
I'm
basic.
not too big on the 2D 3D hybrid, and to me visually they're just more bland.
But a lot of people love Mario 3D World. A lot of
I
people
don't.
think
I don't understand that.
I mean, it's a,
I mean, to
it's
each
a
their own.
legitimately good game.
I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm just saying I don't understand it.
You know, it's great visuals. It's got great music. It's just that it's just more of 3D Land, and to me, it doesn't have much of a lasting impact, even to compare to 64.
I guess for me, the thing is that it plays inherently slower because 3 dimensions is just inherently a slower kind of format. Oh, Ryan, don't commit child murder. Don't you commit child murder.
In the mod that gives it the promotional artwork style for this game, if you do that, the Mama Penguin just straight up walks over and kills you.
In the
Really?
arms
Yeah.
of a penguin.
Little penguin has indeed been lost.
We'll see you all in the
Forever.
next part of Mario 64. Laters.